Hello, today we're going to learn how to divide polynomials. Alright, so dividing polynomials. How do we do this? Well, first, let's think back going old school. Old school. Alright, so think way back when you learned about long division. This is a long time ago. Old school. So I say, what times 2 will get me close to 5? Well, I know 2 will. 2 times 2 will give me 4. And then remember, we subtract the difference and figure that out. 5 minus 4 is 1. And then I bring down my next number, which is a 0. So now I say, what times 2 will give me 10? Well, I know that 2 times 5 will give me 10. So 2 times 5 is 10. And then we subtract 10 minus 10 is 0, which is what we want. So my answer for this problem would be 25. Let's do one more old school problem. Alright, so 3. How many times will 3 go into 5? Well, it goes in there once. 1 times 3 is 3. And then remember, I subtract and figure out what's left. 5 minus 3 is 2. So then I think to myself, what times, oops, sorry, then I got to bring down my number. That's right. That gives me 24. So now I say, what times 3 will give me 24? 3 times 8 will give me 24. So then I can write 24. And then I subtract. 24 minus 24 is 0, which is what I want. So my answer is 18. Try 1C over here. Try that one by yourself. Try that old school problem. See if you can do it. Pause the video and try it, and then unpause it when you're done. Alright, hopefully you paused the video and did that one on your own. But let's do it real quick. 2 times 2 would give me 4. 5 minus 4 would give me 1. I'd bring down my 4. That gives me 14. What times 2 gives me 14? Well, 7 times 2 gives me 14. Then I subtract. 14 minus 14 is 0, which is the desired result. And my answer is 27. Old school. Alright, so how do we divide polynomials? We can divide them by doing long division, the old school way of dividing, right? What you did way back in elementary school. So we can rewrite it, x squared minus 7x minus 30, that is what we're dividing, so that goes in there, to the inside of our division thing. And what we're dividing by, this x minus 3, goes on the outside, and that goes there. Alright, so now I can start dividing old school way and try and figure out what x squared plus 7x minus 30 divided by x minus 3, what that will be. Alright, so the way I do this is I look at my first term, x. I'm going to change a different color here. Let's do red. X, and I say, what times x will give me x squared? Well, I know x times x will give me x squared. So then I say, what times x, or sorry, no, then I do x times negative 3, because that's over here too. So x times negative 3 is negative 3x. So then I have to subtract down, or I change the sign. So I'm going to do a minus. I got to change the sign, minus, and this is a minus, so I'm going to make this one a plus. X squared minus x squared is 0. They cancel out. That's what we want. 7x plus 3x is 10x. Alright, so that gives me 10x. Alright, so now I can bring down what's left over. So what's left over is minus 30. Alright, so now I go back to my first term. I say, what times x will give me 10x? Well, I know that would be plus 10, because 10 times x is 10x. 10 times negative 3 is negative 30. And now I can change my sign. So this was a positive 10x. I'm going to do a minus 10x. Minus. This was a negative 30. I'm going to do a positive 30. 10x minus 10x is 0. Negative 30 plus 30 is 0. That's what we want. So my answer to this problem is up here. It's this x plus 10. So my answer would be x plus 10. So x squared plus 7x minus 30 divided by x minus 3 is x plus 10. Alright, let's try one more example. Here's my division bar. Alright, what's being divided, this goes on the inside. 2m squared minus m minus 3. Right? What you're dividing by goes on the outside. So m plus 1. Alright, so remember, I look at my first terms, m and 2m squared. I say, what times m will give me 2m squared? Well, I know 2. I'm trying to get to m squared, so it has to be m. 2m times m will give me 2m squared. I also have to times it by this 1, because 1's on the outside. So 2m times 1 is 2m. Alright, so my next step, I got to change my signs. So this was a positive 2m, I got to do minus 2m. I like to circle them, lets me know what changed them. This was a positive 2m, I'm going to do a minus 2m. I like to circle them, lets me know what changed them. Alright, 2m squared minus 2m squared gets rid of each other, 0. Negative m minus 2m would be negative 3m. And then I can bring down what's left over, minus 3. Alright, so now I go back up here again and I say, what times m will give me negative 3m? Well, that would have to be negative 3. So negative 3 times m would be negative 3m. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. And now I change my signs. So this is a negative. I'm going to change my sign. I like to circle. Lets me know I changed it. That was a negative. I'm going to make that a positive. So now negative 3m plus 3m is 0, which is what we want. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0, which is what we want. So my answer here is 2m minus 3. That's the answer to my division problem. Alright, another way to divide. There's another way we can divide. It's using factoring. Alright, factoring we just learned how to do, right? So if you don't like doing old school long division stuff, you could factor. So what you can do, remember you take your first term and you times it by your last term. So that would be 12x squared. And we put it in this x thing, right? And then you put this middle term down here in the bottom. And you say what times what gives me x, what adds and gives me 8. Alright, what times what gives me 12, but adds to give me 8. So I know 6 times 2 gives me 12, and 6 plus 2 gives me 8. So that works. So then I can make my box. Remember my box that we did? And then go like this, right? I put my first term in my first box, x squared. I put my last term in my last box, 12. And then I put these two terms that I figured out, this 6x and 2x, I put these in the other boxes, 6x and 2x. I put those in those boxes, right? And the reason, remember, we can do this is because if I added all this up, this will get me back to this original polynomial. All right, so now I have this thing here. This is being divided by x plus 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that x plus 2 right here in my box. So then I say what times x will give me x squared? Well, that would be x. What times 2 will give me 2x? That's x. That works. Alright, so now what times x will give me 6x? Well, that would have to be positive 6 plus 6, right? And what times 2 gives me 12? Well, that's 6. So my answer here for this problem is x plus 6. So we could always factor, if you don't like the old school long division, you could factor and you put this term, I'm going to highlight it here in purple, you can put this term on the side of your box and you're figuring out what's the other factor of the polynomial. And if you figure that out, then you know that's your answer. So this is your answer down here, x plus 6. Remember, you could always multiply these two together and see if you get the same original answer to see if you're right. So like if I want to do x plus 2 times the one I just found, x plus 6, I could multiply these and see if I get my original answer. So remember, FOIL. First first times first would be x squared. Outside terms, x times 6 would be 6x. Inside, 2 times x is 2x. And then last, 2 times 6 is 12. And then we can combine our like terms. And remember, our like terms are always in the middle when you do FOIL. So it would be x squared plus 8x plus 12. So let's see, is that our original answer? Woo, what happened there? Hey, that's our original answer, x squared plus 8x plus 12. So I know that this x plus 6 is the correct answer. That's my answer. Alright, so try that last problem on your own on the notes. You can do it either way. You can either do it the factoring method way, or you can do it the old school long division way. Alright? Doesn't matter which way you do it, you'll get the same answer. When you're done, get it checked by a teacher.